Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. Today we've got for you a 2017 GT350 featuring a 2.9 liter Gen 4 Whipple supercharger, the Stage 2 setup. Well, you know, this is a really great example of our turnkey guarantee setup with Rarefab that we have next door. This customer bought everything through us. Rarefab installs it next door. We tune it on the dyno. The customer picks it up. Problem-free, transaction. In cases where people try to buy the cheapest parts online, they usually don't go as smooth. We will install them, we will tune those cars, but in those cases, if you order something wrong or something wasn't handled correctly or something wasn't installed properly and we have to do extra work on the dyno, or Rarefab has to do extra work when installing a kit you bought somewhere else because something wasn't ordered correctly, you're going to get billed for all that extra time. So if you order everything through us, it's a turnkey number. If something wasn't ordered correctly, it's our problem. If something didn't go well on the dyno and it has to come on and off a few times and we have to spend extra time on it, you know, we're gonna eat that cost. So that's really the advantage of one of these turnkey packages. Anyway, let's throw this baby on the dyno and see what it makes. Alright, there you go. On the very first hit, it put down 791 rear wheel horsepower and 550 foot-pounds of torque. We're obviously going to make some more tweaks to this, but this is basically what you're going to get when you order our kit mail order. This is going to be the file that you start with. We've done multiple kits just like this over the last 3 to 4 weeks, all in that 790 to 800 plus, you know, a few of them hit 800 plus. So we're gonna make a few tweaks to this. We see some changes here. And another thing to remember about Palm Beach Dyno and how we operate is you're seeing a car on the dyno here. We do a ton of remote tuning and they go hand in hand. Like I said, we've done multiple cars with this exact combination lately and they've all been remote. And we can do a ton of great things with refining our files remotely. But then we get a car like this here in person, we could take things to the next level, and that filters down to our remote tuning, so everybody hopefully wins at that point. Anyway, we're gonna make some changes to this tune and see what it makes. Okay, those changes in the file did some good things. Okay, the changes in that file did some good things, and you know, we had some negative effects also. We lost a little bit of power pretty much through the meat of the power band here. Hold on one sec, I have this set to speed. I will change it over to RPM. Okay, so from about 5,000 to about 7,500, that's a huge part of the power band, we were down. But what we did resolve is up here, we were able to get it to pull a little bit cleaner up top. And we hit that 799 number, only 544 torque. So based on those two graphs, we're going to make a few changes, combine some of the features throughout the RPM range, put what works best at each spot all together in one file, and see what we wind up with. Alright, there you go. Obviously, mission accomplished there. 824 rear wheel horsepower, 564 foot-pounds of torque. As you can see from the first pole, which is blue, to the green pole, we're up everywhere. That's obviously the goal on a dyno tune. Now, it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes you change things and you don't see the results that you expect. Based on those first two poles and what we saw, we were able to kind of put it all together into one recipe, and this is the result. Now remember, this car is what we call a turnkey guarantee here. This customer bought all the parts from us. Everything was installed next door at Rarefab, brought over here to Dyno Tune. When you do that, we stand behind the build 100%. If, in this case, Whipple forgets a part or whatever, and the car has to come off a lift, and we got to get the right part for it, or you get the kit installed somewhere else and it wasn't installed wrong, we have to pull it off the dyno. You get charged for all that. If I have to take your car on and off the dyno because it's not properly installed already, it's an extra $50 every time we do that. We have more time involved. If Rarefab has to take your car off the lift because some of the parts weren't handled properly, ordered correctly, all that sort of stuff, you're going to get charged extra because it takes time to do all that. But when you buy everything directly through us, none of that comes into effect. You're going to pay one dyno tune fee. Everything's going to be upfront, quoted to the dollar, and that's what you're going to pay unless you decide to add something during the build, or something comes up mechanically wrong with the car as you delivered it. Right now, I'm going to grab Will over at Rarefab, and we're going to go take a ride in this car real quick and talk about what we like about the car, things like that. So here we go. Will just got done installing a GT350 2.9 liter Gen. This is a Gen 4. Gen 4 Whipple supercharger system. This is there's no such thing as a base system when it comes to a GT350. The very basic system comes with the 132mm throttle body, and starting at the base level, you're talking about 800 plus real horsepower. Why don't you tell us a little bit about getting this installed on a GT350 as opposed to, say, a Mustang GT? Is there much of a difference? Or?
There's a little bit of a difference. There's a couple of other things that you gotta deal with as far as the front fascia, because the under tray is actually attached to the front fascia. A lot of people don't realize that, so it's a little bit more of an ordeal with the brake cooling ducts and the oil and transmission coolers up in the front, getting the bumper on and off. The 5.2 has a couple of little differences on it as far as the manifold design and the blower design that make it sit closer to the hood, and so it comes with a set of lowering engine mounts that you got to install with it. So
by our buddies BMR. They make that for Whipple.
Yep. So those come included in the kit, so you don't have to worry about anything or get any extra parts. We just slap those on. Pretty much, other than that, it's the same as a standard GT.
Well, let me ask you this, okay? I get this question all the time, and obviously I have my answer to it, but let's hear your answer. People, before they buy a car, they're like, should I buy a GT350 and put a Whipple on it, or a Mustang GT? Now, before you answer that, of course, there's a price difference, and everybody has a budget, but let's say it's in the price range, for both combos are in the price range for that guy. What would you say?
Well, I mean, the GT350 has its awesome factor. I mean, it's an amazing car, but it comes with its couple of potential hiccups with the 5.2. So, I mean, if you're looking to beat the living crap out of it, getting the regular GT is probably a little bit more solid of a choice. But if you're looking for more of an exotic setup to make good power on, and a better handling car for going on track and whatnot, this would be the one for it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Now, looks-wise, there's no comparison to me.
The way that the car drives, the way that the interior
but what about the transmission now, if you're a stick shift guy? How much of a factor is that?
It is way better than the standard GT transmission.
I think my opinion is, if I was going to, now, and we're talking about stick shift cars because that's your only option anyway. So if you're talking stick shift, I happen to have had a 2016 Whipple car that made 700-ish to the wheels, which was an awesome car for the price. I mean, you're talking, I paid 30 grand for a base model PP car, plus the blower, install, you might have 45,000 wrapped up in a car like that. You can't even buy this car without the blower for that price. So, not counting the cost difference, this car blows my 2016 away. First off, it makes another 100 horsepower. Do you remember what this thing revved to on the dyno?
It was
like
it was 85, just under 85.
Right, we're not doing that obviously with the Mustang GT, but we are going to 8, so you get a little bit more RPM. The torque difference isn't very significant.
That's about the same.
Yeah, where this shines. So you basically, you know, this is another thing that comes up with the whole GT350 power curve. People see 800. This one made 820 something. I can't remember. Put the graph up.
828.
Yeah, and then
564. I think it was.
That's a little high on the torque. The GTs usually make a little less than that, 540-ish. But in the same ballpark. So where's the extra 100 horsepower come? High RPM. High RPM performance. More RPM and better performance even at 8,000. Right? It's probably making another 50 more at 8,000.
The heads are just a little bit better designed than the regular GT as well. So all those things, they just get compounded when you add power to it.
Yeah. So in my opinion, if you're trying to build a super badass stick shift car where you're not trying to, you know, set stick shift drag racing records, you're just gonna, you know, beat it up on the street.
Enjoy it and have fun, and
this would be the company.
yeah.
If you want all-out performance and you want an automatic, obviously the GT is the way to go. And then the GT is obviously the way to go for, you know, very low budget comparatively to this. But what else can we say about this car? Obviously, you know, you have a little bit of drifting and road racing background. Unfortunately, we do live in Florida, and I'm not sure what you can see in the video, but everything's very straight. But we do get to go fast around entrance and exit ramps sometimes, but sometimes those are straight too. But anyway, have you had one? I know you haven't had a Whipple one on the track. Have you had one of these on the road course?
Yeah, I've driven an R on the road course, and even in the car just handles so much better than the base model. So if you're really more of a handling kind of person, it's not even a night and day comparison. It really is an insane difference, stock for stock.
Yeah.
And then when you go and you put, you know, a little bit of power on it, it just becomes insane.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing comparable to it. Like Ford really outdid themselves when they put this car together.
Exactly, you know, so you're going to get guys out there that see a car like this and go, oh, you're crazy, you should do a Mustang GT, save so much money. Well, you know, some people want to pay for the better handling, the better looks, the better fit and finish. I mean, it's just the small details, but the small details really add up on a car like this. And that's why the GT350 is so popular. Obviously, now that we have the GT500, we're going to have something similar to this, but it comes that way from the factory. Of course, we don't get the manual transmission, so that gives you a case for a Shelby with a manual transmission that makes over 800 at the wheels. You're not going to get that with the new GT500, but you can get that with this by buying a Whipple package, dropping it off with us, and let us do a turnkey. I also wanted to mention that Will and I have teamed up on a special program called the Turn Key Guarantee, and if you buy all the parts from us, all the tuning, pretty much give us a stock car, we give you a price. We're guaranteeing that you're going to have a great experience, meaning, let's say Whipple doesn't ship a certain part that they were supposed to, and the car has to come off the lift and go back on the lift, or there's a tuning issue that's not our fault, it's something to do with the kit, or you ordered the wrong part because you decided to order the blower. You're going to get billed for all of that, every bit of it. Now, if it's a problem that you didn't cause, and it comes into our ecosystem as a turnkey guarantee, then you're not going to pay for it. If it's got to go on and off the dyno 2 or 3 times because of an issue,
that's not your problem.
No.
We take care of it. That's a part of the peace of mind with the turnkey package, is that you know that you're going to have hassle-free part combination and hassle-free service. You're not going to get it back until it's right. You know.
Yeah, like so on the dyno, for instance, if you normal power adder tune, that's not even talking about devices or HP tuner credits if you go HP tuners. If beyond that, it's $750 to buy, or for us to dyno tune your vehicle. Now, if you come to me with, you did the install yourself, or you got your own parts and Will did it, but it's like you didn't buy the stuff from us and it's not a turnkey guarantee. If I put the car on the dyno and make one pull and there's an issue and it has to come off because you didn't install something right or whatever, it's $50 extra every time we have to restrap the car to the dyno. Things like that go away. If our $750 tune includes 2 to 3 hours of dyno time, if you did something to the car and we had to troubleshoot vacuum line routing or any of that crap that happens constantly with people installing stuff themselves, you're going to get billed beyond the 2 or 3 hours, and it's $150 an hour. So if you throw in a restrap fee and an extra hour or two of tuning, you know, you could be wasting $250, $300 just because, you know, you wanted to save a little bit of money buying the product online or something like that. So I think, you know, there's always a chance that you're going to come up with a deal that we can't beat. So if you want to buy your blower somewhere else and bring it to us, we'll do it. We'll do it. Some places won't. We'll do it. But you're going to spend less money and have a much better experience if you just do the whole entire deal through us. So anyway, enough yabbering. Let's see if we got a little room to open this up for just a second, maybe here on the entrance ramp, so you can hear it. I don't think so. There you go. Man, it sounds incredible too. Obviously, most of our fan base will know this, but some don't. The GT350 has a different crankshaft than a regular Mustang GT. It's a flat plane crank, which you'll see in like some exotic cars like a Ferrari. This is, I believe, the largest one ever made.
Yeah, so normally they keep the displacement, or at least the piston size, really small. So like Ferrari keeps the literage real low. Lamborghini can get the literage above 5 liters, but they do it with 10 cylinders because you're supposed to keep the piston size relatively small.
Yeah, right. So I guess we're actually, the right way to talk about it would be the displacement per cylinder.
Yeah.
So this, obviously being a V8 and being a 5.2, is, you know, for definitely...
It's pretty unique in the flat plane world.
You know, and early on there was a lot of the sky is falling with the GT350 and you're going to break it and don't put a blower on it. I'll tell you this, we have tuned, including this one in person, in the last month, we've tuned 4 of these with the same exact package. And they all made between 790 and 820 horsepower. All of them. Perfect drivability, smooth. We get hit up by a lot of people to retune that GT350 either, well, it doesn't really matter who tuned it before. It could have been Whipple, could have been another tuner, it doesn't really matter. They're unhappy. And our GT350 file is killer. Rob, the tune maker, shoemaker, has put a lot of time and effort into this file. And it shows. We can do these remotely in probably 3 or 4 dyno poles, 800 at the wheels, and it's like we barely have to make an edit. And that's true with all of our Whipple files. If you really want a pain-free Whipple experience, whether it be a Mustang GT, GT350, even Hemis, any of those, give us a call and we can take care of you. So
yeah, there's nothing, you can't beat the hassle-free of dropping your car off. Your parts get installed, it goes on the dyno, it comes off the dyno without problems, and you pick it up and just smile all the way home. There's nothing to be said for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get that point through to you if you guys haven't worked in this environment. You know, somebody buys a kit from Bob's Superchargers online and it's missing a part. Well, we can't call the manufacturer because we didn't buy it. So then we have to call the customer. Hey,
you have to call the manufacturer.
It may not be Bob's fault, but you got to call Bob, and then Bob has to call Whipple, and then they have to call us to verify that we're actually. It's a big effing mess. None of that. Okay, we're very tight with Whipple, and you know it doesn't have to be Whipple. We do turnkey packages with Whipple, Vortec, Paxton, ProCharger, Hellion.
Pretty much all of them.
That's it. Yeah, that's it as far as turnkey packages. And we may be adding Kenny Bell to that mix. Kenny Bell package isn't extremely popular on the Coyote, but they just redesigned their blower, and we've got some things cooking there, I'll say. I think with the 2020 GT500, you're also going to see a lot more Kenny Bell. Now, the 2020 GT500, we'll talk about that real quick. That features a 2.65 liter TVS supercharger, and I think realistically you're going to make 900 to 1,000 at the wheels with that blower without too much trouble. So that blower is going to work for a lot of people, but in today's day and age, that's not enough. So at that point, you're going to have to start considering aftermarket blowers for your GT500. This one's going to be a very good option. Or actually, it probably won't be this one. This is a 2.9. The newest Whipple is a 3.0 liter, and it's an upside down design. It'll probably be a version of that. Or the Kenny Bell is coming, and the Kenny Bell is coming out with quite a few different blowers for the GT500 to really large blowers. So I think they're going to start at a 3 liter or 3.2 and work their way up to 4.9 liters. So pretty crazy. Anyway, got anything else for us, Will? I think that pretty much sums up most of it.
Ah, man, this is super easy process.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and on a closed road over here over by the shop, we're going to do a couple quick flybys so you guys can get a feel for it outside the car, and we'll see you on the next video.
Peace.